Hi, Chari. Hi, Keo. Hey, Rosa. Hi, Jose. Welcome back. Aaron, hello. Luciana. You guys jumped over really quick, so thank you for doing that. We should be good to go now. You might notice I'm wearing a jacket today. It's a little bit cold. Excuse me. Here in the studio. It's getting really cold in Spokane, Washington, where I'm working from. Hey, Jose. I'm good. I'm good. It's good to be here. Good to be teaching more awesome lessons. Rosa, it's always good to have you here. Rosa is one of our premium subscribers. Subham, hello. How are you? Welcome. Glad you're here. So we're starting a little bit late, but I promise I will go over everything that we were going to cover in class. We are continuing our English for academic purposes. This is a class that is great for students who want to go to university or who need professional English. So for business or really anything. Anytime you have to write something that is good English, professional, academic, this is the place to be. So, cool. Movember, Luciana says, yeah, you may notice my facial hair is a little bit different than last time, right? Like, I got the mustache going on. What do you guys think? Good? Should I get rid of it? Let's take a survey in the chat there. So Aaron, you're a new subscriber. Welcome. Hi. It's good to have you. It's awesome to have new premium subscribers. So what you get, in case nobody told you, is you get corrected homework feedback videos from your teachers. You get private hangout sessions with your teachers one-on-one too. So you get to hang out with me. After some classes, you get to hang out with the whole group after classes too sometimes. We're going to start doing that soon. You also get quizzes and you get feedback on more detailed English, such as homework and essays. We did a whole series on APA essays, 4 classes on format, stylization, and appropriate use of in-text citations and reference page. So check those out. Luciana, glad you think it's nice. I don't know if you're talking about the class or my mustache. I hope both. I probably will shave this off. It kind of started as a joke, and then this is the second day I've just kept it. So we'll see. I don't know. I was told by some students here at my college, the Spokane College of English Language, that I looked very American. And I take that as a compliment. I feel like I look like a detective from the 1970s, but you know, whatever. Who am I out to impress, right? You want the link to the previous chat? Sure, I can give you that. I think. Let me see. I will try to give you that. Give me just a second here. I'm going back to that former chat. Okay, here is the link to the previous chat, I think. I'm going to send this to you guys in this one here. And I hope that's right. I think this is the link to the previous chat. Check it out and then let me know. It is a big mustache. Yep. You want, Kale wants my beard to grow out. Yeah, maybe. I might bring the beard back. I could share with you guys some photos of a year ago or so. So I had a big long beard like down to here, and my hair was really long, so I pulled it back. It's kind of the style here in America right now. It's what all the cool kids are doing. So I was trying to do that. I'm gonna bring up the background, so I'm gonna get smaller, as will my mustache, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit about my school, and then we'll get to the lesson. So I'm from, like I said, the Spokane College of English Language, which is a beautiful school. This is our Facebook page. If you guys aren't friends with us, go ahead and, teachers chat's open and students. Lots of requests I get all the time. So this is the college I work for, and here is my my Facebook page if you want to befriend me if you're not friends with me already. And then I can show you our college. This is our college page, Spokane College of English Language. We have lots of university partners here in America, so if you did come study with us, you get a direct pathway. No TOEFL, no IELTS, straight into American academics, which is awesome. Tons of great majors, lots of medical majors, respiratory therapy, MA of nursing. We have aviation, automotive, what else is cool? Metallurgic, engineering, lots of engineering degrees, lots of cool stuff. So if you have a major, you can email me or message me on Facebook that you want to try to get. You could come study here just for a month or a few months and then go into university right away with no TOEFL score. So it's very cool. We are also doing like an old magician. Yeah, kind of. All right, Madeline is from the DR. What up, Dominican Republic? Love the DR. I got to spend a little bit of time there when I was working in Haiti as a medical volunteer. I used to work in the medical field. Dominican Republic is gorgeous. Love it there. Beautiful place. So, yeah. Karen, it is surprising how I look, huh? Yeah, it's just, I like to keep it interesting, mix it up. Might start wearing funny hats and costumes and stuff. Okay, we do have a course on literature, Luciana. We do. Another course that's similar to this one, English for Academic Purposes, we study classic American literature that you'll study in most 101 classes at university. We read The Old Man and the Sea. We read Animal Farm by George Orwell, which is an allegorical novella about the Russian Revolution. So you learn a lot of history and allegory in there, but it is literature, satire. Nitesh, what's up? Of course I have something for you. I have a big what's up to Nitesh. Good to have you back again. Thanks for coming in. Okay, and you've done ministry work in Haiti. Awesome, very cool, Denise. That's very cool. Is this your first time in the class? Happy to have you. Okay, so this is our page, our school page. If you guys want to attend university here, we're doing an amazing deal. Anything you sign up for, if you start next month, if you have an opportunity to come for 2 weeks or a month or anything at all, 50% off tuition. Tuition's normally $1,200 for 4 weeks, which is pretty affordable in the US, but you can get as much time here as you want if you sign up for it up front for 50% off, but only through December. And the space is limited too. It's the first 50 students that sign up for it. So if you're interested in that at all, you can sign up and apply and just ask questions. Our application is right here. I'll put the link in the chat and just fill it out. I'll get an email and myself and our Director of Student Services, Justin, will get back to you right away. I'll show you who Justin is while we're waiting for our curricula to load. This is our Director of Student Services, Justin. I don't know if he has his photo up there yet, but this is his Facebook, so you can befriend him and ask him any questions also. Great guy, really nice guy. You'll like him a lot. Okay, so Madeline, it's your first time. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Very cool you're here. Looks like somebody might have even added me. There we go. Okay. So I want to get started on the lesson. We started a little bit late today, so let's get started with learning English. I'm also going to share this page with you, though. If you can't travel to the U.S., you can become a premium subscriber, like Aaron and like Rosa. What other premium subscribers do we have in the house right now? Go ahead and shout out in the chat. But you get your first month free, and it's great. Of course, it's always better if you can come here to the USA and study, because you get a whole day of many awesome teachers that are here to help you. We hang out after school with students and answer more English questions because we love teaching. We love teaching the English language. So yeah, I encourage you to apply and come to our college and study here in person, face to face. Appreciate all the activities and American lifestyle, American culture. There's a lot of fun stuff. We have great restaurants. We have ski trips, tons of fun stuff to do. We're having a big potluck, because who could tell me in the chat right now What holiday is coming up in America? Who knows about American holidays? What is the big holiday that is this Thursday in America? It's one of my favorites. See if you know. Okay, so we're going to get started with the lesson. That's enough about my college and Smrt Live. For those of you who have been here before, we've been studying English for academic purposes, and we have been going over APA structure, essays, compound complex sentences. We've studied a lot of different things. We're moving on from Unit 4 to Unit 5, and this has a slightly different topic than we've been discussing. Previously, yeah, everybody, Thanksgiving, that's right. If you don't have PayPal, just email Zach. He can go over the other options with you. Zach's our expert English, Smrt Live English expert, and he can help you with other options. So just send him an email, ask him how you can sign up, and he can help you out. Yeah, flummoxed, good word too. I'm wondering if that's translated or if you learned that word. Flummoxed is a very specific English word, not that common actually, but a good English word to use. Good past participle adjective. Yeah, Rosa, poverty. That is our new subject we're going to study. Previously, we've studied, I'm getting excited for class here. I'm getting kind of warm. I'm going to take my jacket off. We've studied the difference between Chinese and Western medicine. We've focused on compare and contrast essays. We've focused on compare and contrast listening, mostly contrast though. We've focused on the disparate aspects of these two different modes of thought for medicine using our English. What we're going to shift gears to now is a more sociological, socioeconomical aspect of life and culture. So we're going to focus on poverty. Let's start with just a discussion in the chat. What would you say, what aspect of humanity would you say is most closely linked to the subject of poverty? What aspects? There's many. Let's talk about that a little bit. Rosa, are you happy there's no medical terminology, or do you miss medical terminology? So what is linked to poverty? That's going to be my question in the chat. What aspects of human, the culture of humanity are linked closely to the subject of poverty? So what aspects of the culture of humanity? So the idea of our shared collective culture, right? Some of you are in DR right now. Some of you are in Algeria, Egypt, Mexico, Panama, all of Latin America. We got students from many, many countries. Lack of opportunity, Luciana says. Yes, yeah. There is a lack of opportunity. Unfortunately, impoverished places have fewer opportunities. What else? What aspects of just quality of life, human life, are intricately linked to the subject of poverty? Basic desire. Nitesh, your sentence, just a couple grammar fixes. You say not enough money to fulfill their basic desired. Desired is either a past tense verb or a past participle adjective. What you want to say is not enough money to fulfill, spelling on that one, their basic, and I would maybe say our as a pronoun there, our basic desires. And when you say basic desires, desire is a word that is closer to want. And this is not a complete sentence, by the way. You would have to add, that's a noun phrase, so you'd say is linked to poverty. And I know you're just answering in the chat, so you're probably not focused on making a perfect grammar sentence, but I always want to show you what the correct grammatical sentence structure would look like, because I feel like that's an important learning opportunity. Rosa says, assaults, child marriage, drugs, yes, all unfortunate and ugly parts of the truth in the narrative of human life, right? Poverty is linked to crime. Most of those things are crimes, right? And Keo, you say that as well. You said assault. When people feel desperate because of a lack of finance, they make poor decisions that affect their neighbors, their friends, their family. Education. Chari says, uneducated. Yeah, a lack of education can result in poverty, right? Nobody's mentioned, and we've talked about medicine so much, health. Health is intricately related too. The worst health issues are in impoverished nations. So health, access to food, illegal immigration, yeah, sure. People try to flee and run from bad situations. Lack of health care. Keo says violence, access to facilities, less opportunities. Yes, all of these are good. So I argue, and this is a very broad statement, so it's just my opinion. I argue that poverty is so closely linked to all of these terrible things, right? Crime, lack of access to food and healthcare. And my argument is that education is the answer to that. And as an example, I like to tell my students in classes, I have never seen in my life, my life experience, I've never seen two highly intelligent people go out in the street and fight. I've never seen that. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but most intelligent people can resolve conflict through discussion, through words, through communication, right? So we're building the tools to communicate effectively, which can solve a lot of these problems. And unfortunately, uneducated people oftentimes are uneducated by no fault of their own. So they didn't have access to education. And so the cycle just continues. So I think that that the best thing we can do for the world is try to become as educated as possible and try to give that education to anyone and everyone to help resolve some of these conflicts. Because if we can all become intelligent, cultured people who understand the ways of the world, we can solve those problems. So let's talk about some of these vocab words related to this subject of poverty. Great discussion, by the way. Keep the chat going. This is wonderful. Yes, I would agree with all those comments. You guys are doing great on the chat. Keep it coming. So adequately, what part of speech is adequately? If you haven't answered yet, how about Aaron? I'm gonna call you out individually. What part of speech is adequately? What type of word is that? Is it a noun, adjective, adverb, verb? What is it? Ensure. I'm going to come back to adequately. Adverb, Nitesh. Got to it first. Good work. Yes. Adequately is an adverb that means, it has a similar meaning to sufficiently or to the purpose, right? Adequately. If you adequately water a plant, it will grow fine, right? It's like nurturing it, taking care of it. Good job, everybody jumping in. Ooh, and we have some mixed answers. Verb, adverb, verb, adjective, adverb. Yes, so adequately is an adverb. Maybe some of you were answering about ensure because I had it highlighted there. Ensure is a verb. Ensure means to make certain. You see the word sure in there, right? Ensure. Sure is a word we use. I am sure. It's an adjective that we use to describe 100%, right? Anthony, don't worry about, you didn't fail. You didn't fail at all. I've said this in other classes, but I'll say it now because I think it's important. Making a mistake is the best possible thing for learning. Sometimes they have bad outcomes. Not every mistake is without consequence. But in the classroom, when we're talking about grammar and word meaning, mistakes are great because every mistake is a learning opportunity where we can grow in our English knowledge. So don't feel bad for a moment. You've provided all of us with a learning opportunity. Ensures to make certain. Disposable. This is something that is not reusable, right? Let's talk about the antonym. If it's reusable, like, oh, this is green, so you can't really see it. This is a coffee cup. That happens to be green, so it doesn't really work with the green screen. Kind of fun. Good coffee. It is reusable. It's not disposable. Disposable is when we cannot reuse something. Disposable. Disposable is something that is extra and not of great value usually. We'll see the word in context in just a minute. Phenomena. Question for you. The word phenomena, what part of speech, and is it plural or singular? That's my question for the chat right now. This word, phenomena. It's a fun word to say, right? Phenomena. Phenomena. Fun word. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. You're awesome too, okay? Is phenomena a verb, a noun, an adjective, an adverb? It's always important to refresh our knowledge of parts of speech when we're talking about these academic words. Aaron, sorry you lost your internet connection. Glad you're back. Maybe reduce the bit rate to like 720 or lower. That might help a little bit. Plural. Good. Subham. Yes. Phenomena is plural of phenomenon, ending with an N sound. Phenomena is the pluralization of that word. So it's a noun. Luciana got that. Rosa got that. Plural noun. Good work. Chari, thank you guys. Sufficiently. Sufficiently is similar to adequately. Adequately and sufficiently. We do use them a little bit differently, and we can look at the usage in context in just a minute. But similar meaning. So sufficiently. If you sufficiently water a plant, it will grow just fine. Just like my earlier example. Elements. Elements. A simple synonym for the word elements is parts. Parts. There is a scientific meaning of the word elements. Elements of the periodic table. This would be like argon, gold, magnesium, helium, things like that. Here, though, I believe it's used in the context of poverty, so we're just talking about parts. So what we discussed in the beginning, elements of poverty, education level, the society, the rate of violence, these are all elements of the overarching idea of poverty. Aspects, Rosa says, that's a more academic synonym. Yes, very good. I'm going to go through the rest rather quickly. You can watch the video again if you want more explanation or talk about it in the chat, but I want to get to the reading rather quickly. So I'm going to go through these at a fast pace, okay? Mona, hi, welcome. Mona's another one of our wonderful premium subscribers. How are you? Or Mona A. I'm not sure if Mona A is. If you're not, you should be Mona A. We have Mona and Mona A. Mona A, I'm not sure you are yet, actually, but you should sign up. Afflicted is a word that means, afflict is a verb. Afflicted is past tense or an adjective, past participle adjective. And afflicted is a negative, it has a negative meaning, a denotative negative meaning. And if something is afflicted, it is harmed or injured or damaged. For example, when I was working in Haiti, the country of Haiti was afflicted with great damage due to an earthquake that occurred there, a natural disaster. And so they are now afflicted with poverty in part because of that natural disaster. So afflicted is like injured, wounded, hurt. All right. So keep the chat going there with any questions. Subham says the video stopped. Is it going for everybody else? We still streaming for everybody else? It looks good on my end. Let me see. Is the stream still going? I just want to make sure my settings look good here. So I'm going to keep going. But if it did stop for you, sorry. Might be your internet connection. Okay. So I'm going to keep going through here. I'm checking the old chat, and I'm just going to update them with the new stream. Let's see here. So bear with me. Just going to share this with the previous chat. Make sure everybody is there. Okay. I think we're good. So I'm going to keep going. Charitable. Charities are organizations that provide needed services or items to people afflicted with poverty. So I volunteer at a food bank here in Spokane, Washington, United States, called Second Harvest Food Bank. It's a great place. They donate food to schools and families that are in need of food assistance, so hungry people who are experiencing poverty. Conjunction. Conjunction, I think of our conjunctions in grammar, right? What are our conjunctions in grammar? Can you give me examples? Conjunction, junction, the word junction is a word in and of itself, and it is a intersection, a connection, or a cross. Junctions usually connect two things, like transportation. There are junctions. And our conjunctions in grammar are coordinating conjunctions: and, for, but, nor, so, yet. Fanboys is a mnemonic to remember that. Good job. Emma has some. How are you, Emma? Where are you from? Is this your first class? I don't notice your photo there, so if it's your first class, welcome. Glad to have you. Credible. Credible, we've talked about when we were talking about essay composition. If your source is credible, it is believable, it is trustworthy. Those are synonyms. Deprivation, to be deprived of something. Deprivation. Who has a good definition for deprivation? How can you describe deprivation? Rosa, do you have a good definition? Mona A, do you have a good definition? What can you tell me about the word deprivation? As you're typing something out, I'm going to go to the next one. Expenditures. Companies have expenditures. People have expenditures. A personal expenditure is food, water or water bill, usually rent or a mortgage. Those are expenditures to live, basic needs, right? Food, water, shelter, and community, right? Okay. Looks like everybody's still doing good. That's excellent. Okay. Impoverished. Impoverished is an adjective that describes poverty. A location experiencing poverty we would call impoverished. Unfortunately, Haiti is an impoverished nation. Parts of America are impoverished. There's a lot of poverty in larger cities. There's some in Spokane, but there's a lot more in bigger cities like Seattle or New York, LA. There's a lot of poverty, a lot of homeless, and therefore more crime and violence. That's why I love Spokane. It's a very safe city because we have less impoverished communities. Okay, so Shiva Kumar, hello, how are you? You're from India, and you're very welcome for the teaching. I'm happy to have you here, happy to have you as a student. Is when you don't have things you need. Yeah, deprivation, I believe Madeline is defining there. Yes. One example would be, and I'm going to go back to medicine because we've talked so much about it. Oxygen deprivation is when you don't have enough oxygen in your bloodstream. So to deprive me of oxygen, if someone put their hand over my face like that, they would be depriving me of oxygen. I would then experience oxygen deprivation. That's a good definition, Madeline. Thank you for that. Bereaved, Subham says for deprivation, not exactly. No, not exactly. Bereaved and bereavement are words that are associated with deprivation, but more specifically for depriving someone of a human life that was a relationship, right? When we bereave, it's generally used to refer to human life. Not always, but we can talk about it more at a later time. I'm going to go through the rest of the words, then we'll do the reading. Mainstream. Mainstream is something that is popular, right? Could be a popular trend, could be a popular song, mainstream music, right? Measure. Measure is an aspect of resolving an issue. Okay, it's a step to resolve an issue or an action taken. A common collocation or phrase that you might hear is, the government is taking measures to decrease poverty. That's an example sentence we could say. I'm going to type that in the chat. The government, or let's say the people in the community are taking measures to decrease poverty. All right. Donna, it's okay if you're late. Happy to have you here for any amount of time. I started late today too. Little technical difficulty. Good to have you here. Okay. Nitesh, you said morbund. I think you meant morbid or morbidity. Also, those are related to life, biology. Generally, human life. Median. Median is the middle, right? So if we all listed our age in the chat right there, right? You don't have to do this. I'm 31 years old. But if some of us were, 8 years old and some of us were 75 years old, there would be a median. The median is like the average. So median income is a collocation in English, median income. That means like the middle of the income, how much people make, which can determine the poverty line. Miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is like many different variety or many different kinds. Subham, you're welcome. Rosa says procedures, measures. Yeah, procedures. Steps taken, actions. Yes. Mainstream means. Okay. So Subham put those two words together. You could put those two words together. In a question, I might say, what are some mainstream means? So you can see this in use. For Donna, you're older than me. Oh, well, it's not about how old we are. It's about how old we feel, right? So if you feel young, you're young. What are some mainstream means for combating is like fighting, poverty across the world or around the world? That's my sentence. What are some mainstream means for combating poverty around the world? We can put those words together. We can use these. We can test them out. Flex our vocabulary. So miscellaneous is like many kinds of varieties. I had to go to the store to buy miscellaneous items. Just little of this, little of that. Prosperity is a word related to wealth. It's like saying wealth. If there is prosperity in an area, then there's less poverty, probably. Great prosperity can sometimes create poverty, though. Sanitation. Sanitation is cleanliness, when things are very clean. Sanitation departments, as part of an infrastructure in a city, is garbage disposal services or sewage services, right? Bathrooms and plumbing. So where there is sanitation, there is less outbreak of health concerns and health issues. Where there are places that have great poverty, there is also generally a lack of sanitation. The phrase springs to mind. The phrase springs to mind. What does that mean? Mean, mode, median. Subham, you were probably a mathematician, right? Those are words we use in mathematics. Good. Okay, so who has used the word springs to mind before? Springs to mind, leaps to mind, we also say. Oh yeah, that song leapt to my mind, or sprung to my mind when I saw that image. I was taking a walk and my favorite song sprung to mind. This means just came into my mind, came into my head. So if I were to use this in a question, I might say, what springs to mind when you think of wealth or poverty? What springs to mind? That is a way you could use that word in a sentence. A stereotype. Stereotypes are generally a negative thing. It is where we make an assumption about someone because of one qualification of that person. For example, my students that come here to Spokane, Washington, and study at Spokane College of English Language, sometimes they will meet me and they'll say, Josh, you're not American. Why are you not super fat and eating McDonald's? I've had to convince students before that I am an American. Show them my passport, right? Because I'm relatively healthy. I try to work out. I try to go rock climbing and take hikes and exercise where I can. But a stereotype about Americans is that we're, overweight, obese, McDonald's eating, lazy people, right? I can say this because I've heard it and I know enough about worldviews and cultures that this is one stereotype that does exist and it's okay. But if we believe in stereotypes, if we choose to assume stereotypes, we're making a big mistake because we're not being open-minded. We're not giving someone an opportunity to show us who they are individually. So there are lots of stereotypes across the world, and there are stereotypes about people in poverty, right? Oh, you are a poor person, so you are uneducated and a criminal. I know some very, very smart people who are victims of poverty. I know some very healthy, kind, generous people who are very impoverished. So stereotypes are important to learn about, but not believe, right? We don't want to believe all stereotypes. Okay, and substandard. Standard is similar to these words we learned up here: adequate or sufficient or usual. Standard can be used a couple different ways, but one way we use the word standard is the standard of living. The standard of living for any human life should be enough food, water, and safety, shelter to survive. All right. KO's eating junk food right now. Very American of you, if I'm buying into the stereotype. Substandard would mean what then? If standard is like the basis, the usual, substandard, the prefix sub in academic English means below. Submarine is below water, right? Substandard is below the standard, below what we want to achieve as a median or baseline or minimum even. Under, Rosa says, yes, exactly. Substandard is like below quality. Anthony, great work. Yeah, that's true. It's below quality, below what is good enough. So, what I'd like to do is speed through. We're going to skip the pre-reading questions today, and we are going to go straight into the reading. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a minute or 2 minutes to try to read the first paragraph on your own. And here's my advice. I'm gonna go off camera for a minute, and I'm not gonna play the music or anything because sometimes that can be distracting when we're trying to read. But I would like you to, wherever you are, even if you're in Starbucks somewhere, or a coffee shop or a public internet cafe, internet cafe, I would like you to try this, even if you appear to be a crazy person reading out loud. Read this out loud. Read it so you can hear your own voice and try to pronounce the words, okay? I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to do that. Read this paragraph, and then when I come back, I'm going to read it for you so you can hear a native speaker, an American speaker, pronounce these words, okay? But try on your own first. So take 2 minutes, read it out loud, and see how you do, okay? And I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, are you guys ready? You want to hear me read it? I know some of you have, it's very late or very early, so you might not want to wake up your families. But I appreciate you trying, if you tried. If you haven't tried, try later. The best way to practice reading is to read out loud. That will help your English the most, I promise. Okay, so I'm gonna read and I'm gonna try to highlight as I go so you can see about where I am. I'm gonna read the whole reading. You can always go back and listen to it later. It's pretty long, so bear with me. And then we'll talk about it briefly, and we will pick up next class discussing the content of this. So it would be a good idea between now and actually next Tuesday, we got some time in between because of the holiday here in America. We're gonna have 3 classes next week. We're gonna go Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So where normally we have Thursday class, we're not gonna have it this week because my college is gonna be closed. All businesses, most businesses in America are closed for the Thanksgiving holiday so people can spend time with their families. But I will miss you guys. I will be thinking about you. And during Thanksgiving time in America, we tell people what we're thankful for. I truly am thankful for all of you and getting to have this class. So on Thursday, even though we have a break from class and we'll have 3 classes next week, I will be thinking about you guys, and I will be thinking how grateful I am that you guys are my students. So please know that. It's really wonderful having you guys as students. So, okay, here we go. Measurements of poverty in Canada. Nearly anyone asked feels confident that they know what poverty is, what it looks like, which type of people are most likely to be afflicted by it. There's no denying that it is a negative condition that even the most conservative of politicians will agree must be dealt with and lessened as much as possible. Unfortunately, it is not always clear what poverty actually is, and trying to find a definition can seem as hard as dealing with the problem itself. There are a number of working definitions of poverty in Canada, but the best way to look at what poverty means is by looking at how organizations have created different methods of measuring the phenomena and the aspects that are considered. Only then can Canada's current situation regarding poverty and who Canada's poor are be fully discussed. Given the task of describing what poor people look like, the image that springs to mind for most individuals might be that of a scene of sickly, starving children living in dirty conditions, lacking proper sanitation and housing. Perhaps it is that image that keeps Canadians away from the issue because that is not a scene painted in most areas in developed countries where poverty occurs. What is there is less visible and is based on deprivation and need. In Canada, poverty is linked far less to physical circumstance than a lack of income, or too little income to sufficiently ensure people's basic needs are being met. To a poor Canadian, it may be difficult to find money to cover basic necessities such as food, shelter, and clothing. These people rely on charitable organizations and food banks to make up that extra that they cannot supply. Their housing may be extremely overcrowded or even substandard in terms of safety and protection from the elements outside. In extreme cases, those who cannot make enough money may even end up on the streets. It is clear that society's stereotype of what poverty looks like is not an adequate indicator that allows for an accurate determination of whether someone in Canada is poor or not, which is why various systems to measure poverty have been developed. None of them are as precise as experts would like and provide more of a general survey of the number of poor and where they live, yet depending on which system is used, that number will differ. What is agreed upon by all systems that measure poverty is that there needs to be a poverty line. While it's true that classifying a person as impoverished or not is not black and white, having a definitive line where someone under is poor and over is not. It is a necessity in order to compile the statistics required. By properly defining a poverty line and a measurement of it, experts can determine not only the incidence of poverty, the total number of poor, but also how poor these people are, as well as how long they have been in that condition. Some systems measure poverty in quite absolute terms, in that they look at a person's ability to meet a specific need or not. Others are far more relative and look at poverty as being an unacceptable distance from the mainstream and its norms. Of the commonly used measures of poverty, there are three that are used to great effect in Canada and abroad. These systems are the Low Income Cutoffs, LICOs, the Low Income Measure, LIM, and the Market Basket Measure, MBM. The Low Income Cutoffs, LICO, developed by Statistics Canada, StatCan, in 1959, the Low Income Cutoffs, LICO, are the most widely used and quoted of low-income statistics in Canada. StatCan claims that they should not in themselves be used as a measurement of poverty, as they simply define a line under which someone would be living a life worse off than the average due to lower income. A low-income household, according to the LICO guidelines, is one in which members are spending a much larger proportion of their income on basic necessities, food, shelter, and clothing, compared to the average household. To arrive at this figure, there's a survey of household spending each year run by StatCan, which collects detailed information on household expenditures, as well as information about income, demographic makeup, housing type, and various types of household equipment. From this information, the low income cutoff line is set by taking the percentage an average family spends on basic necessities and adding 20% percentage points to it. As of 2013, the average household spent about 37% of its income on necessities. Therefore, if a family spends the adjusted amount of 57% or more on the same items, they are, according to the LICO, living in poverty. Of course, there's a vast difference in the cost of necessities depending on family size as well as location. So the LICO are broken up into 7 different family sizes across 5 sizes of community, thus giving LICO lines in 35 different possible categories. In 2011, the poverty rate in Canada was 12.9%, according to the LICO measurement. The 2011 before and after tax LICO lines are presented in Table 1 below. I'm going to stop right there. Thank you everybody for your comments. The reason I'm stopping is what I'd like to do is I would like you guys to go ahead and read this later on. You can pause the video, rewatch the video, and read what is written here. We are going to discuss this reading next class. And what we're going to do, so you know the plan, you can show up prepared, is we're going to read a paragraph, a section, so sometimes a couple paragraphs, and then discuss the content in the chat. That's what we're going to do next class. So be ready for that. Be ready and prepared to discuss the low income measure, the low income cutoff, and the market basket measure, which are all indicators or measurements of poverty in Canada. So this will be the discussion next class. We're discussing poverty. You can do some research of your own. You can search these terms and learn a little bit more about them. Practice your own reading at home. For premium subscribers, you have access to this curricula, and I'd like you to read it, and I'd like you to complete the exercise, which is right here. So if you're not a premium subscriber, remember you can be. I will share that link once again. You can be a premium subscriber here, or if you want to study this class with us in person here in beautiful Spokane, Washington, you can apply to our college. But premium subscribers, your homework for the next week, because we don't meet until next Tuesday, is to complete this exercise and share it with me. I'll get your other homework corrections and reviews back to you in personal videos later on. And of course, as always, thank you guys for showing up. Yes, Rosa, there is homework, but you get a whole week to do it. You get until next Tuesday. And then we'll be here at the same time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Next week will be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Usually we are just here on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But next week is special. We get 3 days because of the holiday this week. So make sure you come back and have a great holiday. Have a great Thanksgiving, even if you're not in America. I'll be thinking about you guys, and I'm thankful that I get to be your teacher. You're wonderful students. So come back anytime to any class. We have Neil, Nicole, Abby's coming soon. There's Sean and Mark, great teachers, great English lessons. We'll talk a lot more about this. Keo, thank you. You're great. Rosa, glad you're doing okay. And thank you, as always, for being here. And Sanderlin, been a while since I've seen you. Glad you're here. All right. So everybody, thank you so much. I'm really glad you joined the class. And as always, happy to have you. Like usual, we're all over the world sharing this classroom together. So good morning, good afternoon, and good night.